So good morning and good evening and welcome to the today's session. So today, like what we are going to do is very simple. We are going to discuss something about the directory structure, right? But before we go with the directory structure, you should know that the last session we have discussed something about introduction to the file system. So when we talk about introduction to the file system, we have discussed what is file system. File system is nothing but a collection of files and directories is known as file system. And my disk will be in a character path or raw path. It only reads the characters. So my data is stored in a block. So in order to store the block data, we require something called file system. And file system will convert character path into a block special path. And every operating system contains their own file systems. Like, as we discussed, you know, uh, as we discuss here. So Windows has its own file system called NTFS as well as FAT. And Linux supports many types of file system basically. It supports ext2, ext3, ext4, and even it supports XFS also. So already we discussed XFS is a default file system. And remember, XFS stands for Scalable File System, it is called, right? And apart from this scalable file system, even we have the other file system called BTRFS, that is called binary tree file system it is called. And there is one more file system called GFS version 2. So what is this GFS version 2? It is nothing but a cluster file system we call it as. We call it what? Cluster file system. So what is the use of this cluster file system? There is a concept in real time we call it as a cluster. What is cluster? The two machines that provide one single service, that is called cluster. This is something called cluster, right? So whenever you're using this cluster, to make sure your data is available here and your data is available here, we are going to use a file system called GFS, that is called cluster file system it is called. Okay, cluster, GLUSTR, cluster file system it is called. So remember, whenever you come across this kind of environment that is called Red Hat clusters, you will get a chance to see this cluster file system there. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly how you're going to go with. And when you go for Solaris, we have a file system called UFS and ZFS. When you go for IBM AIX, it has a file system called JFS and JFS2, right? So this is what exactly the introduction to the file system, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about directory structure. Now many times we will have a question here. So what is the use of directory structure here? Right? See, very simple, like leave it about Linux. Anyhow, you're going to learn about Linux. Let us talk about Windows. So when I'm talking about the Windows here, when I'm talking about the Windows, so very simple here when I'm talking about the Windows. Like in Windows, whenever you create when you try to install operating system, you're going to see something like C drive. We have something like C drive here. So what is C drive? Where your operating system is installed and running. This is something called C drive, right? And basically, like when you install operating system in a C drive, you see many directories, right? Basically, I'll try to show you. You will try to see many directories here. Like this, you will see Dell, Intel, program files x86, users, Windows, like this you will find. Now take an example, when I get into the user, you will get the users. When you click on the user, you will get this kind of directories. Can you see desktop, documents, downloads, favorites, OneDrive, like this you get this, right? Now assume that whenever I download anything on my machine, it will come to the downloads. Whenever I save any document, it will go to the documents. Whenever I delete any file, it will go to the recycle bin. You know this, right? Or whenever you try to save a picture, it goes to the picture, right? So this is what exactly happens, right? So basically, when it comes to Windows, because you are using this Windows operating system from the long time, so you are very good, you have a very good awareness about how this is going to work, right? Yes or no? Right? This is what exactly. But in case, okay, now my volume is high only. Everyone, you are getting echo or it is clear?
Clear only,
Clear only.
Balachandar. Clear.
What about
It,
others?
it's clear for me, but I have to increase the volume like 100%.
Acha, acha, acha. Yes, sometimes there is
Yes,
some problem
same
with
with
the
me also. So the
uh,
volume is bit low.
bit low. I have increased the full volume here. I mean, my speaker volume, if I increase, it will only help me, but only your side. Uh, I'm almost near to the mic and I'm just speaking to you. Okay, fine. Now I hope it is clear to you now. Is it clear right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good.
Yeah.
So fine. This is what exactly how it's going to go with. So there is no need a special, separate training for you to understand the directories inside the C drive, right? Maybe you have learned here and there, and you are able to manage or you're able to work on Windows by understanding, right? But whereas when it comes to Linux, when it comes to Linux, so very simple here. When it comes to the Linux, you should know the directory structure. And remember, without knowing the directory structure, you will not be able to work. Without knowing the directory structure, you will not be able to work. Why? Why? Because, for example, someone call you and ask you, we just want to see the logs. Okay. If they are asking you to, they want to see the logs. They want you to see the logs. And if you are not aware where the logs are stored, it will be a problem, right? Or else you're working with some services and you want to see the configuration file of the service. And if you are not aware that where these configuration files are stored, again it will be a problem. You will be in trouble, right? So that is the reason it is very, very important for the Linux administrator or a Unix administrator to have a good knowledge on the directory structure. And you should have a knowledge of the directory structure. Okay, when someone asks you to find out a log, you should able to get into the directory and you should able to see the logs. When someone asks you to find out some log configuration file, and you should able to get into that particular directory to see the configuration file of that particular service. So that is the reason this directory structure plays a major. Now, whenever I'm talking about this directory structure, the first directory that you're going to see top level is nothing but slash. Slash is nothing but what? Root. So remember, root is a symbol for slash. Okay, slash is a symbol for root. Sorry. Slash is a symbol for the root. And remember, whenever I'm talking about the root, remember one thing, root is a super user. Root is a super user. And remember, root is the top level directory and top level file system. This is what exactly, right? So now you might have a confusion here. So you're saying root is a directory and root is a file system. What does it mean? Right? See, root is a file system. You're going to access that file system with a directory called slash. For example, let me show you something here. Let me show you. Okay, let me switch on this machine. What happened to this? Just wait. The machine has come up. Let me connect. So I have not shown you how to connect your Linux machine using a putty. So just see the putty is a tool basically. You can download this tool from the internet. Putty.org is a site. Okay. And very simple here. You have to just, already I have saved the server IP address here. Just click on load and just click on open. Then you will get a login prompt here. Then try to put the username which you have created and put the password that you have set to that particular user. Right? So now what I'm going to do here is very simple. Let me run this particular command. So I'm running a command called df-h capital D. So when I run this particular command, just try to read this header. Can you see this header? Right? What is this header is telling you? This is a file system. This is something called type and size, used, available, percentage, and mounted. And whenever you see this, this is a root file system. Can you see this? This is a root file system, and this root file system is mounted on a directory called what? Slash. Can you see this? So that is the reason always you should remember directory is nothing but it's a container attached to the file system. And whenever you want to access any data on this file system, you have to get into this slash container. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly. The same concept is there in Windows also, but no one will tell you about this logic. Right? In Windows also we have a partition. On top of the file partition, we have a file system, and file system is attached to a drive letter called C or D or E. This is what exactly. And remember, C, D, E is nothing but it's a directory. It's a folder or it's a container which is attached to the partition. Are you getting it? The same thing happens when it comes to Linux also. Get it? So this is what exactly how you're going to go with. So always whenever you run this particular command, try to observe these headers and try to follow this information. Alright? Now good, everything is fine. Now you have understood something about the root here. Now what I'll do is, below the root, we have so many directories. Like we have a bin, we have something called sbin, we have something called var, we have something called usr, we have something called etc, right? We have something called opt, we have something called lib, right? Like this, we have many directories. Okay. So now when we have this many directories, now what is the information stored in these directories, right? So let us discuss this. Let us discuss this, right? So let me take you into the slide here, and I will give you a detailed information about what information is stored inside this particular directory, right? So let us start with bin here. So when I'm talking about the bin, you know all the normal user commands are stored somewhere inside the bin. All the normal user commands. Remember, normal user commands are stored somewhere in the bin, right? So this is what exactly the bin consists of. Then we have something called boot. So whenever I'm just talking about the boot, boot is a directory which contains the system bootable files. Now you will ask me, sir, what is bootable files? Very simple. So when the operating system has to boot, it needs some programs to bring the operating system online. To bring the operating system online. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly something about the boot, right? It needs some programs. Now you will have a question here. Sir, what is this program exactly? We call this program as what you know, grub. Okay, grub is nothing but Grand Unified Bootloader it is called, right? Like as a simple example, I will tell you. If you want to start a two-wheeler or four-wheeler, what you need? You need a key, right? Without a key, can you start it? No. You will just put a key, turn around, and you will just press one button. It will self-ignite, and then you will start driving it, and you'll run. This is what. And even Grubby is also something like a key. It's a small program, you know. The program size will be just 512 bytes, and this 512 bytes will help you out in booting the Linux operating system. Are you getting it? In booting the Linux operating system, right? And the files related to the grub will be stored somewhere in the boot. Not only the files, even it has small program that is stored inside the boot that will help you out in booting the Linux operating system. Is it clear? Right? Then we have something called dev. So what is dev? Dev stands for devices, you know. So whatever the device that you are going to connect to the Linux machine, their logical files are stored inside the dev. Their logical files are stored inside the dev. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly the dev importance here. And remember, these logical files are used by the kernel. Kernel is nothing but operating system. Even you are going to use this files here. Getting it? So I'll show you little practically here. Just let me show you. I will take you into the machine here, and I will take you into the slash. Slash is nothing but root. Are you able to see the directories which we are discussing? You're able to see the bin, you are able to see the dev, you are able to see the etc. Okay, you are able to see OPT, you are able to see USR, WAR, temp, so many things we have. Now let me take you into the boot. So when we get into the boot here, when we get into the boot, just say ls. Do you see there are files related to the grub? Can you see this grub2? Just get into the something called grub2. So when you get into the grub2, so it's not giving you the permission to get in. Why? Because I am a normal user. I don't have the privileges to get into the grub2, right? And whenever you want to access any file related to the grub2, either you should be a root user, right? So what you need to do is very simple, switch to the root user. And you know how to switch to the root user. You need to say su hyphen to switch to the root user, right? And try to put the password here. So whenever you put a password, you will be on it. Now we will just try to go with slash boot slash grub and just say ls, and you are able to find all the configuration related to the grub. Is it clear? And at the same time, when I just take you to the other directories, like, okay, we have something called dev. So whenever I just try to take you to the dev, dev stands for devices. So you can see all the device files are available here. All the device files are available here. You can see there is a device file with the name called SDA, and you can see the partition called SDA1, SDA2, SDA3. Right? You can see there is a SR0. SR0 is nothing but the CD-ROM or SCSI-ROM it is called. And you can find the CPU information here. You can find the disk information here. This is all exactly the files. Getting it? So this is what exactly all devices logical files are available here. Getting it? So this is nothing but a logical file. Getting it? So remember, Okay, so now we go with something called dev, and we have something called etc. etc is nothing but it's a main configuration file. It is a main configuration file which stores, etc contains it stores all main configuration file related to your services. Okay, so whatever the services we have related to all services, main configuration files are stored somewhere in etc. Getting it? So let me take you into the etc here. I'll just try to say cd etc and just run ls. You will find all the configuration file. Now you will say, how should I know that it is configuration? Whenever it ends with .config, you will understand that it is a configuration file. You will understand that it is a configuration file. Is it clear? So this is what exactly how it's going to go, right? So now everything is fine. Now you have understood something about etc. And what is /home? All the home directories of the users are stored somewhere in home. For example, right now I will just try to exit from the root. Just observe, I'm exiting from the root. And whenever I exit from the root, I am on a student. And did you observe that the home directory of the student is stored somewhere in the /home/student? /home/student. This is what exactly it's doing, right? You might have one user, you might have 10 user, you might have 100 user. All users' home directories by default stored in home. I'm telling you by default. Now you will say that if I want to customize, yes, you can customize. That is a different scenario. But right now you should understand that by default it stores in /home. Remember, this is very, very important. Now good, everything is fine. Now let me go to the root. So what is root here? So whenever you try to log into the root, whenever I am switching to the root here, just observe, you will be in a /root directory. So /root is a home directory for the root user. /root is the home directory for the root user. Getting it? And remember one thing, you should never confuse between / and /root. Remember, / is a top level directory for all the directories. Getting it? And /root is a home directory for the root user. Is it clear? So this is what exactly how it is going to go. And we have something called run. So basically, whatever the programs it is running on your machine, the programs related temporary files will be running from here, right? So this is what we have something called sbin. Sbin contains admin user commands. Remember, all the super user commands, the root user commands, or we call it as an admin user commands are stored somewhere in sbin, right? And we have something called temp. You know, in Windows also you will find the temp, right? So inside the temp, what we will have? We have all the temporary files. We have all the temporary files. So from where these temporary files gets generated? These temporary files get generated when some process are running, active process are running, right? Now the question here is, okay, even in Linux also same thing. Whatever the process it is actively running, to speed up the process, to speed up the, the command or a process, it will generate the temporary files. Are you getting it? But remember one thing, okay, but in Windows, we need to delete the temporary files. We have to delete the temporary files, regular basis, every 15 days, every 20 days. But whereas when it comes to Linux, there is no need to delete the temporary files. Why? Because whenever you reboot the machine, the temporary files automatically gets flushed out from the temp, right? But now you might have a question, sir, when I get a job, when I'm working with some project, I will be working with a production environment. Will I get a chance to reboot the machine? Never. We never can. So then you will ask me then how the temporary files gets removed from the temp. Very simple. So whenever it comes to /temp, it is going to store the data only for 10 days. How many days? As per the policy, it will store only 10 days. Now you'll ask me after the 10 days, what happens, sir? So after the 10 days, it will try to delete the data in first in, first out format. It will try to delete the data in first in, first out format. Is it clear? So this is what exactly the way how it is going to store the data inside the temp. Right? Now, did you observe there is also another temp here? There is also another temp. Now you'll ask me, sir, how many days the temporary data is stored in var temp? This is going to store for 30 days. After 30 days, what happens? First in, first out format, it starts deleting. Okay. So this is what exactly how the temporary data is stored. Then we have something called var. So sorry, USR. USR is equal to your program files. Whatever you install, that goes into USR. Whatever you install, that goes into USR. Then we have something called var. So what is var here? All the system related logs are stored somewhere in the var. All the system related logs, right? If someone asks you, just find out a log file for so and so, you have to get into var org. There only you will find all the log files. Are you getting it? This is what it's saying. And you will also have a question, sir, what is this dotted lines are representing? This is representing a soft link. You'll ask me, what is soft link? The original bin directory is stored here. The original SBin directory is stored here. The original temp directory is stored here. But they have created a link here. They have created a link here. They have created a link here. So you will have a question, sir, what is link here? In Windows, we create a shortcut, right? We have a file or a directory somewhere in D drive or E drive. And every time I want to get into that D drive and E drive is not possible. So what I'll do, I will create a shortcut on my desktop. Getting it? At the same time, when it comes to Linux also, we have something called symbolic link. We have something called what? Symbolic link. Right? Now, you might have a question, sir, how I'm going to identify that technically? So very simple. I'll try to show you. Right? When you put ls-l in front of the permission, when you see L, you should understand it is a link. You should understand it is a link. Can you see this? This is also a link. This is also a link. This is also a link. You can see this is also a link. Right? In front of the permissions, if you see D, you should understand it is a directory. What it is called? It is nothing but a directory. Clear? Understanding, right? This is how exactly it is going to. This is how exactly it is going to go. Clear? Understanding, right? So this is the way how you are going to work. And always see whenever you are working with this directory structure, you should always get into the directory and you need to see this is all the log files. This is all the log files, right? So in the coming sessions, we will discuss detailedly about the log files also, how to read a log file, what will be the pattern of the log which is recording, everything we will discuss detailedly, right? So this is what exactly how it's going to go with. Now good. Now what we will do is very simple. This is all about something how we are going to work with the directory structure, right? And see here root directory represents by the forward slash stores all the directories in the list. And if you cd into the directory and use ls command, you will find list. And you know very well what is a prompt. This is a root prompt, this is a normal user. So This is something called boot directory. It contains the important files needed by the bootloader, like init ramfs file systems along with the kernel. So like this bin has a, normal user commands, sbin contains root user commands, right? And etc contains, it's a vital configuration files and shell scripts and network files related to the, services or users. Okay, this is what is that. Okay, USR. Okay, directory contains most of the files, libraries, programs, and system utilities. If I want to tell you bin and sbin are a part of USR only. Where it contains, where stands for variables. This particular directory contains the files which grows, regularly, very frequently. Because we have a logs in this particular file, in this directory, right? So when logs will keep on grow when it generates. This is what exactly. So this is what exactly. Temp is a directory used by the system, its applications to store the temporary files. Right? And proc. So what is this proc? Proc is nothing but it is called a pseudo file system, or we call it as a virtual file system. Whatever the process it is running, the process related PIDs and its related data is stored here. Getting it? And it is a volatile memory. Okay. Why? Because the data inside the proc, when you shut down the machine, it will flush out. It will remove everything. And when you power on the machine, again it will try to load everything. Getting it? So this is what? There is a directory called system, contains information about various system components and drivers. Okay. And run directory logs the system information since the boot, and you can find the information about the domains that are running. Okay. So dev directory we have discussed, home directory we discussed, root directory we discussed, and lib. Like in Windows, we have a DLS. At the same time, when it comes to Linux, we have a concept called library files. So all the library files are stored somewhere in the OPT. OPT stands for optional directory, which contains, it is like, Windows, we have a D drive and we have a C drive where we store our third-party softwares or data. In the same way, when it comes to Linux, we have something called OPT, right? So whenever you are downloading anything from the internet, you have to store that in OPT. Okay, and remember OPT stands for optional directory column, right? So this is the importance about the directory structure. If you have, do you have any questions? Let me know. Yes, please. You can come up with the questions, right? So this is what exactly. Now just go into the proc and just say ls. You will see all the numbers here. This is all something called PIDs. PID stands for process IDs we call. What it is called? Process IDs. Clear? So this is what exactly how we are going to do. This is what exactly. Any questions, any doubts here? Yes, please. Vijay, Sai, and Arun Raj.
No doubts.
Doubts is clear? What about Arun? Okay, fine. So this is all about it.
Balachandar, one question.
Please.
So let's say the slash tmp, right? So it will store all the temp files, and if we reboot the server, so will that clear those files or?
Yes, it will clear those files because because temp is going to use in the backend swap. Temp is using what? Swap. You know what is swap? Swap is a virtual memory. Memory means RAM. So RAM is not a volatile memory. Okay. Uh, it is not a permanent memory. It is a temporary memory. Getting it? When you reboot the machine, automatically whatever the data that is stored in temp, that is going to get cleared.
Yep, correct.
So this is what exactly is
But one more observation we have seen is so on our Linux servers there is a Oracle database is hosted, and Oracle also creates a cache files which are like a
happening.
socket.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah, definitely it will create. Socket is different, right? Socket and port number is different. Port number and socket together represents the service. Are you speaking? I'm not able to hear you. Hello? I don't know, you got muted. Something network issue was there. Yeah, you're saying something, Vishnu. Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mentioned one thing is we have Oracle databases hosted on the Linux servers, and at times what we have observed are Oracle creates temporary socket files to start the
Mhm.
clusterware on this
Mhm.
Linux/TMP, and that
Mhm.
is not being cleared automatically when the server gets rebooted. So we had to log in and
Lock in and
manually remove it.
Mhm. See, what happens is very simple here. Why it is not getting cleared means maybe see when you reboot the machine again the cluster services will start again it will try to create the socket files or it will create a temporary files within the temp. Are you getting it?
Okay.
Right? Because cluster service will come up when you just reboot the machine when the operating system is coming up with that somewhere in a run level 2, run level 3, the cluster services will come up. As it comes up, it starts creating the temporary files. Why it is creating the temporary files? Because it has to make sure that the cluster services run in a smooth way. That's the reason it creates a temporary files. And what is our observation? You will think that when you delete, when you reboot the machine, the temporary files are not getting removed. No, it is again creating it. That is what exactly.
Okay.
Is it clear? Okay. This is what exactly. So, this is what exactly. Yeah, any other questions? Please let me know. Sudhakaran, you have joined twice. That's the reason it is echoing, I think. You can exit from one. I don't know which one you are active right now. Can you just, yeah.
No, I have muted on both.
Actually, I'm just removing one because it gets echo. Hmm? Right. So now, okay, this is what exactly. So as of now, you have understood all about the directories. And always now, whenever you get a time, whenever you're practicing, get into each and every directory. And remember to get into this particular directories, you need to use a command called cd. cd stands for change directory. cd stands for change directory it is called, right? So you are going to use cd command to get into the directory. Whenever you think about directory, you need to use cd. And whenever you get a thought of reading a file, you need to use cat. So this is very, very important. And remember, these basics are not over today. If I'm discussing about directory structure today, you think that the topic is over. No, these basics will come into the picture in day-to-day administration. Getting it? So definitely in another 15 days and 20 days, you will become master in the basics. Okay. If someone asks you where the logs are stored, you will give the information that it is stored somewhere in a where. Are you getting it? So let me go. Now good. Now let us see. the other things here. Now let me take you into the slide here and let us discuss something other things. Now we are going to talk something about types of files. Basically, you see regular files, directory files, and special files, right? So we have different types of files. And remember, whenever you talk about regular files, types of files we are discussing. Now you will ask me, sir, where I am going to find these types of files? Remember, whenever you are running ls-l command, you will find it. So where you can find, if you see in the front of the permission, we have a dash here. This dash represents that it is a regular file. It's a normal file. And in front of this particular permission, if you see D, D is nothing but directory. D is nothing but directory, right? And whenever I just put ls-l in front of the permission, if you see L, it is nothing but a link file. It is nothing but a link file. Link is nothing but it's a shortcut in Windows we call, right? So this is what exactly. So apart from this, we also have a special files. We have a file with the name called block file. We have a file with the name called a file type called character file. We have a pipe file. We have a symbolic link. We have a socket file. Now you will ask me, sir, how should I identify the socket file and all these things? Let me take you into the dev. So you know that inside the dev, we have all the device files. And whenever I say ls-l, can you see the character files here? So how do you say that it is character? In front of the permission, you see C, that is called character file. And in front of the permission, you will see B, that is called block file. Where you see the block file? For example, I will try to show you where do you see the block file. Where is this? Yeah, this is something called block file. The partition disk that comes under block. Partition disk that comes under the block. Are you getting it? So this is something called a block file. This is something called a block file. Are you getting it? So this is all about how we are going to go. Clear? Right? So this is the way how you are going to identify a type of file here. Right? Now good, you have understood type of files. Now we are going to see how to create a file. Now creating file in different command, if we have a different commands. So we have a cat command, we have a touch command, we have an NL command, we have a command called T, and we also have a command called vi vim nano gedit. But note one point here. Vi vim nano gedit are nothing but we call it as a file editors. That means using vi vim nano gedit, not only we created new files, we also try to edit the existing files. We try to edit something called what? Existing file. You can edit, you can modify, you can add the data, you can remove the data, you can save. This is what exactly it's going to be. In simple words, if I want to tell you, vi vim nano gedit works as same as your notepad. In Windows, you use notepad, right? In the same way, this is going to go. Clear? Understanding. This is what exactly how it's going to go. Right? Now let us see like how do we create a file with the help of cat command. Okay, then we will see how to create a file with the help of touch command. Then we will see how to create a file using PIVM. And of course, we will also see how to create a file using NLP also. But they are not that important, right? So let us go and let us see how we are going to create a file using a cat. And remember, whenever I'm talking about a cat command here, whenever I'm just talking about a cat, so using a cat command, what we can do, right? So very simple here using a cat command. So using cat command, sorry, 1 minute. Why machine has become very slow? 1 minute. Using cat command. Okay, we can create a file. We can create a file and insert data. This is one we can do. Second thing is we can read. We can read the content of the file. Content of the. And third point is we can append the data to the file. So you'll ask me what is append? Append means already we have a file. It has some data and we are adding some more data to it. That is called appending. Okay, appending is nothing but to an existing file, adding some more data is called appending. Right? So this is what we can do it. So let me show you that. First of all, whenever you are trying to work with cat command, whenever you work with any command, what I recommend is try to see the man page. When you see the man page, which is going to give you cat stands for concatenate file and print on a standard output. Okay, and you can see there is a description here, there is options here, go through the options, right? And come out of the man page. Then now what you will do is very simple. I'm going to use a command called cat. Cat followed by the data, then followed by the file name, right? So why you're using cat greater than symbol? Because whatever the data I am trying to insert, that is going to store somewhere in the this particular file, redirects into this particular file. Remarkable. So press and enter here. So this is to, I'm inserting some data. This is to create a file using cat. Using cat, we can read, create, and append the data in the file. Like this, I'm putting some data. Then come to the new line here. You have to come to the new line. As you come to the new line, you need to press Control D. You need to press what? Control plus D at a time you need to press. And whenever you press Control D, whatever the data that you're typed here, that will be redirected into this particular file. And now just say ls. Do you see there is a file with the name called file1? And I just want to show you, I just want to read this particular file to see whether the data is updated here or not. Yes, it is there, right? Can you see this? So using this command, we have seen how to create a file, and using this command, we have seen how to read it. And we are going to see how to append it. So whenever I'm talking about append, I'm going to put a double greater than to append. Append is nothing but already we have a file and we want to write some more data in it, right? So press and enter. This is to append the data to the existing file, right? Control D. Again. Now again try to read the file. Do you see the previous data and do you see the data which we have appended? Yes. Now take an example. You say that, sir, I forgot. Instead of putting double greater than, I just mentioned single greater than. What happens? It will override. What it will override? It will override this data and it will take the data which you have written. Getting it? Now you will ask me, is there any recovery process? No recovery process. Once it is gone permanently. Getting it? So that is the reason whenever you are working with the cat command, whenever you are planning to append the data, make sure that your data is appended, okay, properly. Use double greater than. Use what? Double greater. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly how we are going to go. This is what exactly how you. Is it clear? Now this is all about how we are going to work. Any doubts here? Arun, Vijay, and Sai. Because why I'm asking you only because you're totally new to it. That's the reason I'm asking.
No doubts in this.
Not
No doubts.
good. No doubts. Good. Okay, fine. So now this is what exactly how you're going to work with. But okay, fine. Right now we worked with cat command. That's okay. But cat has so many options, right? So remember, whenever you are trying to read the data using a cat command, try to use an options here, right? So what is the options? I'm going to put cat-n followed by the file name. So what it is doing, tell me, it is trying to print the line numbers here to your data. Okay. And see, this is not mandatory. When you need it, you try to use. I'm trying to put E. E is nothing but it is putting a dollar symbol at the end of the line. Can you see this? And what is this dollar symbol represents? The dollar symbol represents the line or the record ends there. The line or the record. Record or line is same. In Linux terminology, we call it as a line as a record. Getting it? So the dollar prompt gives you information that the line ends there. Getting it? So like this, whenever you are working with any command, don't forget that you have to use an options. What is the use of options? It will try to change the behavior of the output. It will try to change the behavior of the output. Are you getting it? So this is what exactly how it's going to. Then we have something called touch. So what is the use of touch? Using a touch command, you will try to create empty files. So with touch here. So what is the use of with command, right? When you run with followed by the command, it will first check whether the command exists or not. If the command exists, it will try to give you the command with absolute path. Command with the absolute path. Remember, this is very, very important. Now good, now let me show you. I'm going to just say man touch here. It is going to give you, what is exactly touch does, tell me? Changes the file timestamp. Not only that, using touch we can create empty files. Can you see this? Create empty. Okay, it will try to create empty files. Okay, so now let's do one thing. I'm going to use touch and I'm going to put something called the file name like this. Of course, first we will create a empty file, one file. You can see I have created empty file. How do you know that it is empty? Try to run ls-l and you will see that it is a empty. You will see that it is an empty. Is it clear? And using touch, we can create multiple empty files also. Multiple empty files we can create. We can create multiple empty files. Can you see this? We can create multiple empty files. Is it clear? Right? This is what exactly how you're going to go. Done. So this is all about how we are going to go back. Okay. So this is all of. Now you will ask me, sir, if I want to put any data again inside this empty file, what I have to do? Again, you need to take the help of cat, or you have to take the help of VI, Vim, Nano, GAD, like this you need to use. Getting it? So this is the way how you are going to create an empty file. Clear? This is how exactly it is going to go. Then we have a command called mkdir. So what is mkdir? To create a directory. So MK stands for make directory. So using mkdir, we are going to create a directory, right? So before using this particular command, try to read the man page of the command. Make directories or create a directory or directories. Getting it? So this is what it's asking. So I'm going to just say mkdir. I'm going to create a directory with the name called Oracle. And when I just put ls, can you see that Oracle directory is created? And remember one thing, whenever you see blue color, any name with blue color, you should understand it is a directory. If you see any name with normal text color, you should understand it is a normal file. Are you getting that? So now using mkdir, we can create multiple directories also. You can create ORA1, ORA2, ORA3, ORA4, ORA5. This is what exactly we are going to do. We will try to create multiple directories here. Yeah. This is what exactly how you're going to do. Now you will ask me, sir, how do I get into the directory? Use something called cd command. Use something called cd Oracle. This is what exactly you see. Are you getting it? cd Oracle. It will take you into the Oracle directory. Right? You want to come out of the directory, just say cd enter. It will try to bring it to your home directory. Right? This is what exactly. Right? So this is the way how you're going to create a directory. Now take an example. I want to create a directory inside a directory, subdirectory. So I'm going to put mkdir-p. This is -p stands for parenting. We call nesting. So what is this nesting will do? Inside the Oracle, I'll try to create a directory called production, prod, something. And inside the prod, I will say DB. Inside the DB, I will create something called I create something called a database name as something called admin. So basically, you know that inside the Oracle, we don't have prod. And inside the prod, when prod is not there, DB is not there. DB is not there, admin is not there. But this -p option will create the directories inside the subdirectory. Getting it? So, for example, if I don't use -p, what happens? Let me show you. What it is saying? Cannot create a directory. No such file or a directory is saying. Right? So in that scenario, you need to use -p. -p stands for parenting or nesting. It has created. Now just get into the Oracle, then you will see there is a production prod. Get into the prod, you will see DB. Get into the DB, you will see something called admin. And try to get into the admin, there is nothing. Try to put PWD, this is your present working directory. This is something your present working directory. Is it clear? This is what exactly how you're going to go with. Now, right now you are working here. I immediately want to go to my home directory. You need to simply press CD. It will go to the home directory. Are you getting it? But in case from my home directory, I want to again come back to this directory. Say CD dash. Dash will bring you to the previous working directory. The CD dash will bring you to the previous working directory. Is it clear? Understand, right? So this is the way how you are going to work with mkdir. I hope you are understanding. Is it clear? So this is all about today's session. This is all about today's session. So any questions, any doubts, you can ask.
Bala, will you be teaching about run levels also?
Yes, yes. So why not? 100%. That is an important task, important session we have. when we discuss booting process, we will discuss run levels, we will discuss targets, we will discuss if the boot process has some issue, how do we recover it? Then we will discuss about service management. Yes, how to start a service, how to stop a service, if a service has some issue, how to troubleshoot it. Yes, definitely we will discuss. Maybe, today is Thursday, right? Friday, Saturday, Friday. And maybe by coming weekend, we will try to complete our all basics. Then when we get into administration, whatever the topics you are asking, that all we will be discussing,
Okay.
right? There is no doubt about it. Definitely we will discuss, right? So that's one. Okay, one day here and there, maybe I'm telling 50 hours, it might go to 55 hours, even it goes to 60 hours also. The content which I am putting in front of you, we will discuss more than that only. Yeah. Okay. So this is what exactly.
Okay.
Right. So if you are a fresher, you can easily put 3 years experience, 3 to 4 years experience, but only thing putting experience is not a big deal. That is just a paperwork, right? But you should have that knowledge. So if you want to have that knowledge, you need to work a lot on the things, and you have to you have to read lot of FAQs, you have to read lot of scenarios. Okay, then you need to prepare for the things. Getting it? See, there are so many jobs are available. Only thing is, people are very hard to find a technical guy. Very hard to find a technical guy. Okay. Your resume speaks. I mean, everyone, even as I am at your place, also I will also put the resume. The content should be lot. It should when the HR looks into my resume, it should attract the HR saying that this is the guy I'm looking for. But when they approach you, the same feeling should be there. Are you getting it? This is what it's okay. So this is what exactly. So we will discuss. We will 100% we will discuss. Okay. So that's it for today, and we will meet tomorrow same time. Okay. See you. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
now bye.
Thank you.